Hey guys, this is the Bearded Hammer coming to you today with a new guide on how to get by the Mejai. That's right guys, we're taking on Forewarned Mejai and I'm going to give you the tips and tricks to get through each and every one of these guys. Alright guys, so before we begin, I do want to go over something that's really near and dear to me, my sponsors. You guys! So my Patreons are my sponsors for this video, so if you want to become one of the Patreon people, by all means, please follow the link below, and the description will be more than happy to show you how you become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month and get this shout out. Alright, that being said, let's go ahead and jump on over to the video. First up, in my opinion, is the easiest, I'm going to do this easiest to hard, is Dekan the Lost. So, I want to talk to you first about what makes this guy scary, and then what his weaknesses are, and how you can exploit those. So, the thing to remember about Dekan is he is 95% hearing based. What this means is anything you have that makes sound can draw death to you. This effect is so strong, one time I even had a compass start spinning on me, and in the infamous words of a famous cartoon character, ruh-roh, and suddenly I was a Scooby Snack. So you gotta be very quiet around this guy. The other thing you must keep in mind, Dekan is the fastest moving guy, both in his normal walk and when he's chasing you. If he's got a lock on you, you can't get away. You can't. He is too fast. The second he realizes where you are going to die. Your one prayer, one small prayer, is if you happen to have a radio, you can turn it on, drop it as you run, and then just as he gets to it, you stop running. You might get away. Maybe. Still iffy. That's a very specific set of conditions and really hard to pull off. So, generally speaking, I don't try it. So having talked about what makes Dekan scary, let's talk about his weaknesses. First and foremost, he is almost entirely blind. He's not completely blind. He can see directly in front of him about 10 to 15 feet away, okay? So if you cross paths in front of him directly, he might see you. He can also sometimes see your light if you shine it directly in his face. So again, avoid shining the light in his face too much, unless you're off to the side. Him being able to hear you is usually what gets you killed. There have been a few times in the past where he's turned a corner and I just happen to be in that narrow vision range he has, and he's come and eaten me, but it's very rare. And the biggest tip I can give anyone that's trying to get away from a Dekan is do not run. He will hear you running and he will come and eat you. What you need to do is walk, and if he gets really close, you can crouch and he won't be able to hear you. Now, Dekan is faster than you walking, so what you have to do is you have to get along the sidewall and just let him pass you. Very rare occasions he may be a little off to the side and he might catch you, but it's super rare. He usually goes straight down the corridor. And if you do notice him on a left or a right hand side, just make sure you get to the other side of the corridor and he will pass you. Honestly, that's the biggest thing. Do not run. So long as you don't run, you're going to get through 80 to 90% of your Dekan runs, no problem. Now, one way you can cheese Dekan, if you are so inclined, should one of your party members die, they can actually go to a sarcophagus and just keep opening and closing it. If they do this, it will draw enough sound to get Dekan, and he's basically locked there as long as they keep opening and closing the sarcophagus. It's a little cheesy, but it is a way that you can get everyone else out alive. Alright, now it's time to talk about the second weakest mummy, Rathous the Forgotten, as he is completely harmless until he becomes aggressive. You could literally be walking into him and nothing's going to happen until that aggression kicks in. The reason Rathous comes in the third slot in the power and not the last slot is because larger maps. On a small map, he is by far the easiest mummy to go up against, because you're going to be out of the map so fast he's never going to have time to wind up his attack, which takes 30 seconds of him constantly seeing you in line of sight before he'll start attacking. So on a small map, he definitely is the easiest one, but it's those larger maps, especially the ones with the long hallways, that will get you killed. So the things about Ouphous is he's a shapeshifter. It's easy to not realize it's not your companion beside you, it's actually Ouphous. He looks exactly like one of the player models, and he's fairly silent. He doesn't make a lot of noise. He makes some. He makes the same amount of noise one of your companions would make. When he does get angry, he is extremely fast. He is very aggressive when he gets angry. Also, unlike any of the other Mejai, until he's actively trying to kill someone, you can't take the evidence photo of him. It's one of just the really obnoxious things that you have to sacrifice someone to get the evidence photo, and it's just not really worth it. So the strategy to how to deal with Ouphous varies greatly whether you're playing solo or with a group. Now, if you're playing solo, one of the biggest things I can say is try to just stay away from him. You should be able to see him coming from a little ways off. Hopefully you can either hear him walking towards you, or you can see the headlamp that he has, because he's got one of those handy dandy hard hats just like you do. So hopefully you can see him coming and you can avoid him. His view range is fairly decent. He will notice you fairly easily if you get close, but if you stay at a distance, he won't notice you. You'll know he's seen you once he's turned towards you and started walking/running directly to your position. At that point, the timer has started. Now, if you're in a group, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're in a group, you can just run Ouphous around, and whether you're solo or in a group, if he's following you, what you want to do is try and take corners as fast as possible to break line of sight. He needs 30 uninterrupted seconds of line of sight to attack you. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, 30 seconds is plenty of time to break line of sight. You just have to run, and you have to cut those corners very quickly. Now, that being said, you're probably not going to lose Ouphous once he gets on you. It can happen, but it's really tricky. So the biggest thing I can suggest on that end of it, just keep trying to run around, find the switch, and get out. Once you're out, you're safe. Unfortunately, again, you're not getting the photo of this guy because unless he kills somebody, he just looks like a regular person, and it doesn't count as evidence. Because let's face it, if you showed a picture of some random person, you say, this is a monster, they're not going to believe you. The other big thing you can use is the Hecam Amulet. This is the mummy the Hecam Amulet works on. It's rather expensive, but if you have it on you and he starts whistling, turn it on. It will stop the whistle and he will not be able to attack you for a few more seconds.
You're right.
All right, guys, now we're to the guy I consider always dangerous, Rathous the Damned. Rathous is right in the middle of the pack as far as speed is concerned when he starts off, but he's silent. He doesn't make sound unless you enrage him by him killing somebody or you shake him off with fire. So that's one of the things that really kind of will get you. You can turn a corner and he's right there. Also, as he kills people, he gets faster and faster and more aggressive. So as time goes on, Rathous just gets scarier and scarier. I have seen him chew through entire teams
teammate.
just because they got that first kill and then it just snowballed. Rathous also has pretty good vision. It's not the best, but it is still decent vision, and he can see you from a decent ways off, and once he's seen you, he's locked on. Now, you really have two avenues of defense when it comes to Rathous. First, torches. Everyone should have torches. Light every brazier you come across, light every torch on the wall. You need to have as much fire around as possible. Rathous tries to avoid the areas that are well lit with torches, and he will not go near a lit brazier. Also, 3 times total, so it's not just for you, it's for everyone on the map. If you wave your torch at him, he will yell and back off for a second. Honestly, I'm not even going to kid. Most of the time when I actually manage to wave my torch at him, it's because he startled me because I turned a corner and it scared the bejeebus out of me, as you're going to see in this clip. However, you can get near a brazier and light it up. He will not go to it. He will actually turn around and walk away. That is the best way to get away from a Rathous, is to get behind a brazier, light it up, and stay behind it for a few moments. Now, one of the somewhat troll things about Rathous is he can blow out torches, which is your only major defense against him. So you gotta be a little careful on that. Okay guys, it's time to talk about the big dog, the one everyone fears, Necreph the Shadow. So, understanding Necreph's strengths is going to be key for your survival. First and foremost, in his page it says no light, and they are not kidding. No headlamp, no torch, no flashlight, no lights. It is a death sentence to use light with this guy. Secondly, he always knows about where you are. There is no him roaming around trying to find you. No, he knows about where you are. He may not have your exact location, but he's always going to be like, he's around here. He's in this area. He's always going to know. And if that wasn't enough, he also teleports. There is no him moving from one place to another. He can be behind you, then instantly in front of you. He teleports. And finally, if you're looking at him for too long, he's going to pinpoint your location and kill you instantly. So how do you fight someone who can instantly teleport, knows where you are, you can't see because you don't have lights, and if you do look in his direction for too long, he will instant myrtleize you? How do you get past this? Well, there are 2 ways. In the low levels, you can resort to your lighter. The lighter gives off just enough light that you can see by it, but it doesn't trigger Necreph unless you get super close to him. So there is that. You do have the lighter, which is, again, just enough light that you don't run directly into a wall and not know it, or that you walk into a pit. You hope. You might actually still walk into a pit. But again, it's your best bet at low levels. Once you get the tablet plus, or the tablet or any upgrade from there with night vision, your chances of survival dramatically increase, because this doesn't count as light as far as Necreph is concerned, and you can actually see around the dungeon. You can see in the dark areas for the blue light very easily. You can see where Necreph is so you don't walk into him, and you can also see where not to be looking so you're not staring at him. The Tablet Plus is the big game changer with Necreph. However, until you get that Tablet Plus with the night vision, my honest recommendation, if you get Necreph, just leave. Taking the gold and experience that you have earned up till the point where all you have left is to input Necreph and get his relic, you're going to be far better off getting that gold, getting that experience, than taking that 1 in 1,000 shot that you're able to get out with the relic. Because Necreph, low levels, is just too overpowered. So guys, that has been my guide. I do hope you all enjoyed it, and I think there's been some really useful information in here. Now, if you liked this video, please give me the thumbs up down below, and feel free to subscribe so you can see all of my various content as it comes out. And if you didn't like it, that's okay too. Let me know what you didn't like about it down in the comments, and you can go ahead and hit that thumbs down button. Now, I do want to give one last shout out to all my Patreons. Again, without your support, this would not be possible. Thank you so much. I want to wish everyone a beautiful day. Stay safe out there in Streamland. And this is the Bearded Hammer, signing off.